This is the third and probably the last tutorial under quadratic equations, and I'm going to finish it off with a few questions. Now, one thing I want to clarify, in the last tutorial I said that there's no need to use a factorization method to solve equations, but in some cases you'll see that it's actually faster using that method. So there, instead of applying the whole formula, it'll work out much better for you to just directly factorize it and solve it. But here's one question, and I'm going to do it both ways, and you can see that both ways are going to get the same thing. So the equation is 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, to do it by the factorization method, this time I'm going to do the factorization method here by the formula. So factorization method, all you do is split the middle term, and here you can see that you can indeed split the middle term. So we're going to do that. 2x squared minus 6x plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. So I'm not going to do all the steps. I'm pretty sure you know them already. Your teacher would have taught you. But in the end, you'll get something like 2x plus 1 into x minus 3. On the right hand side, you're going to get is equal to 0. Now, if the product of two numbers, this is the first one, the second one, is equal to 0, it could only mean one thing, that one of them is 0, but both of them could be 0 as well, but I'll come to that. Now, one of them has to be 0, so we take two cases here. So either 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Let's solve this linear equation for x, and we get take the 1 to the other side, so that's minus 1, and then take the 2 down, so you get x is equal to minus half, minus 1 by 2. Take this case, we can say x minus 3 is equal to 0, so simply x equal to 3. So obviously one of these is equal to 0. Now you can see that for I'm going to change colors so you'll understand this better. Now if this is 0, this means that x equal to 3. And now if you put in the value of x equal to 3 over here, you'll get 7. You won't get 0. And the same will be true for the opposite. So you can see that over here in this case, only one of them can be 0. It's not possible for both of the terms to be 0 at the same time. So you're going to get two answers because, as you know, quadratic equation has two solutions. Also, if you get the same answer, like say you got x equal to 3, and on the other side also you got x equal to 3, that'll still count as two solutions. Even though the same mathematically, it counts as two solutions because a quadratic always has two solutions. I did that in the first tutorial with you. Now, I'm going to do this by the formula method now. And just a little tip for you, when you first look at the question, I think the best way to decide which way to do it would be when you look at the equation, if you can see how it is to be split, it's very obvious, it's right in front of you, then I suggest you go ahead by this method over here, factorization. But if it's not, say in this case in larger numbers, say you had 5x squared minus 14x plus 3 or something like that, then it's going to take a long time to figure out how to split the term. And that's if you can split the middle term at all. In some cases you can't even do that. So for those cases, unless you're sure you can split the middle term, I suggest use the formula. Now I'm not going to go through each step. I'm going to write it directly. Minus b would be 5 because it's minus of minus 5. Plus minus root of b square minus 4ac. So b square is 25 minus 4 into 2, 8 into minus 3, minus 24 upon 2a, which is 4. So this becomes 49 under the roots, so you get a whole number as the square root. So here we get 5 plus 7 by 4. Remember, it's a plus minus, so in one case you take a plus, in one case you take a minus. And so over here you'll have 5 minus 7 upon 4. So just solve here, you get 3, solve here you get minus 1 by 2, and you can see that it matches. So again, only if you think that you can easily split the middle term, do the factorization way. And also another thing, you have those questions where they'll ask you to solve up till 2 decimal places or something like that, or maybe 3 decimal places. So in those, like 99% of the times, the root over here, where you look at root of d, that will not be a whole number. It will come in a decimal. That's why the decimal comes from in the first place. Uh, so in those, I think you can't split the middle term no matter what. So in those, it's clear that you need to use this method here. So and then you'll have to find the square root. So over there, there's no thinking involved in which method to do. Go straight away for this one. Also, in many questions, you'll be given square roots, and then you'll be given any expression inside it which has x or anything in it. Whenever you have these type of sums, at least what I did was, I think what you should do is just take all the roots to one side, if there are more than one, that is, and just square it, and you should get rid of all the roots like that. You might have to uh, even square it twice. I don't know, that depends on the sum, but you should, uh, I think, never try to solve with the roots. You should just try and get rid of the root as soon as possible. Now I'm just going to erase this and move on to the other type of questions that are asked. Uh, one very common question, one very common type of question, rather, is where they'll give you information about a certain number or its digits or something like that, or maybe a fraction, and they'll ask you then to just find the number or the fraction. So I'm going to do one of those. Also remember that this chapter is huge in terms of the variety of questions. You have first the typical solve up to 2 decimal places, which you've done already, and then you have word problems, which are the more common ones. And under word problems further, you have many types. Like one is this one involving finding numbers. There'll be a few involving a speed of a car or a boat or something like that. And another very common one is you're going to have like you'll be given an equation for a shopkeeper selling, buying, or something like that, or a few uh, something to do with tickets or expenses. So for that, I suggest the many books other than your textbook as well, um, which list down all of these questions type by type. So instead of wasting your time doing the same questions over and over again, where the logic is the same, I suggest you buy one of those books. One example is Together With. I use it, and it's pretty good if you want to save a bit of time, not doing the same questions over and over again. So this question is from here. Now, a 2-digit number contains the smaller of 2 digits in the units place. The product of the digits is 24. The difference is 5. So you have to find the number. Now, what we can do is just write the number as 10x plus y. Why we write it like this is, and x and y are the 2 digits, where x is the tens place. So the reason why we write it like this is basically just take any number, say 42. X over here is 4, y over here is 2. Now how do we get the value of 42 from this? All you do is multiply the number in the tens place by 10, hence the name tens place. So you get 40, and then we add the 2. And similarly, if you have 142, you'll multiply the 1 by 100, the 4 by 10, and the 2 will get multiplied by 1, so it will remain 2. So that's the reason why we write it like this. Also, they've given that uh, the number, the digit in the smaller digit is in the units place. So we can write a condition as y is less than x. Um, Okay, and what else given? The product of the digits is 24. So two digits are x and y, so their product is 24, and the difference is 5. Now we've been given that y is smaller than x, therefore x minus y is equal to 5, not y minus x, because y is smaller, so we get a negative there. That's the reason why they're given that information. So x minus y is equal to 5. Now if we let's just write this equation in terms of x, or let's just equate it to x. So take this equation, take the y to the other side, so get x is equal to 5 plus y. You could do the opposite as well. You could do it either way, really, it doesn't matter. So once you get this, all you do is substitute this value of x into this equation here. So what we get is y into 5 plus y is equal to 24. And you can expand this, open this up as y squared plus 5y minus 24, you bring the 24 to the other side, is equal to 0. Okay, now at this point, this is a quadratic, so I think if you want a bit of practice solving these, I suggest you should pause it right now and solve it. And I'm going to go ahead right now and solve it. So I'm going to use the formula here, because honestly on first look I can't tell how it should be split. So minus of b, which is 5, minus 5 plus minus root of b squared, which is 25. Sorry, that's a 2, it doesn't look like one. 25 minus 4 into a, which is 1, into c, which is minus 24. So 4 into minus 24, and you get minus 96. And the whole thing is upon 2a. A is 1, so you get 2 there. And now let's just solve this over here. It's 25 minus of minus 96. I think 25 plus 96, which comes to 121, which you can see is a perfect square of 11, of course. So then we take the two cases. One is plus 11 upon 2, and one is minus 5 minus 11 by 2. Let's just solve. This one becomes 6 upon 2, and this one will become minus 16 by 2. So our two answers for x are 3 and minus 8. Now I think it's obvious here that it can't be minus 8 really. Minus 8 in the tens place doesn't make sense. So over here we're going to ignore this minus 8, and I'm going to continue this here. So we know that x is 3. Now sorry, wait, I think yeah, sorry, this is not x, this is y. I didn't notice this y over here. This is y. So y is the units place, so we know that that is equal to 3. Now there's no real reason to solve for x here. You've been given all this information here, you can find it directly. So you can solve it either way. You know that y is 3 now. So just put a 3 over here, and you know that 3 into 8 will be 24. So x equal to 8. Or you could use this one as well, and you'll get the same thing. So x equal to 8. Again, the reason why I ignore the minus 8 is because you can't have a minus 8 in the units place. You can only have a positive number here. So the number is 83. I'm just going to verify just so you know that it does fulfill both the conditions. X into y is 24. 8 into 3 is 24. And x minus y is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. And yeah, I think that's it. You're going to get more of these, and you come across more lot of these in the books. Some of them will give you fractions, and they'll say that if you add this number to the numerator and this number to the denominator, the value of the fraction increases or decreases by so much. So again, same thing, except you don't really need to bother about this whole 10x thing then. It's simple, it's direct. And also remember that the chapter here is quadratic equations. So the whole purpose of it is to form a quadratic equation. And if during the sum you're not getting a quadratic equation, you should probably look back and check again, because that's the reason why they'll ask the question. And also, in these questions where they have digits and everything, like I just verified my answer 83 and it did fulfill both the conditions. Now, when you get your answer, I suggest you should also verify it, because sometimes you could, you know, you could have got 38 or something. Like if you ignored the first condition that y is less than x, or you could have made a careless mistake like that. So always verify your answer, even in the other word problems. So you'll never go wrong over there. And I've gone way over the time limit, so I'm going to continue this in the next video.